In this video, I'm going to talk about the best seating position in guitar playing and the natural movements that we could make playing. If you already watched my video on how to produce the tone on the guitar using the mechanics of the guitar, you're in the right place. If not, just go to check it out. Let's start with the natural movements. You certainly heard about playing relaxed guitar. I'm totally convinced that this is impossible. You can't play relaxed because, as to my old professor of music pedagogy, if you are relaxed, you will fall down the chair. So, playing relaxed is just a myth. It's not possible. Now let's see anyway what we can learn from this fiction of relaxation. When I keep my hand up and my fingers totally relaxed, there is no tension on them, they do this work. They are bent on themselves and in some way closed. Now watch my wrist. My wrist is straight. It's probably a bit bent in this direction. When I want to make a fist, so use a lot of strength in my fingers, my wrist is bent probably a bit more, but anyway, it's quite straight coming from the forearm. So I suppose this is a good position to the leading of the strength from the muscles to the fingers. This would be a very good position, actually, for both hands. So left and right hand while playing might have advantages when we have that kind of angle in the wrists. Now, when I keep my hand in this way with the wrist completely relaxed and bent as well, my fingers have another position. They are kind of longer, especially the index finger, not too much the pinky. But anyway, that's the kind of flexion that I get when now making straight the wrist, the fingers are bending back again into the hand in some way. What anyway is in my hand, the fingertips are not in the same line. We will see that later on the guitar. In the left hand, it's just the same. The fingertips are not in the same line. If I want them to be in the same line, I actually have to use tension. So bye-bye relaxation. Now, what is a kind of natural movement of the hand? Natural would be if we just grab things. So, for example, this one. If I grab it, I'll take it like this. You see, my wrist is in that position of the fist, actually. I would not grab it like that. That doesn't make sense. I take it in this way. Now, where is the movement coming from? It's coming from this first articulations. The movement is like this. My fingers are slightly bent, and I just take it with the fingertips, as I'm a guitarist. If not, I would take it like that. Full contact with all the hand. In guitar playing, actually, we don't have contact with all the hand, but just with the fingertips. Let's see that in the left hand, I would play it like this. Anyway, the movement of grabbing is coming from here. This would be a natural movement. To the right hand, when playing guitar and moving from here, what I get as a movement is this. Just as to say bye-bye, ciao, ciao. The fingers are bent in that kind of banana form, let's say, and they're shaking up and down. The left hand would do actually very much the same. The thing of movement Remember this for playing when we will see it. Let's talk about the playing position. In order to have my left wrist as straight as possible, I have to get my neck of the guitar in that 45 degrees more or less angle from the floor. Why is that? When I want to play with my wrist straight, I can't actually do it when the neck of the guitar is too low. In this case, I have actually to angle the wrist. And this is, well, that's not good because the strength conduction from the muscles to the fingers is not really great. Now, what I do to determine the right angle of the neck is I let my arm fall down, more or less relaxed, put little tension in it to get the hand up. And I should reach just from a movement of my elbow on the neck. My hand is down. Then just from an elbow movement, I'm getting more or less in the 6th, 7th position. Notice the position and the distance of the neck from my left shoulder. That's the position and the angle the guitar should have. As a hint, the headstock of the guitar is as high as my head is. That's more or less, for most guitarists, the best way to angle the guitar. Now, how can you do this? You can do this in several ways. In this very moment, I'm using a guitar rest, which is like an ergo play, but this one is made by the Swiss luthier Pepe Toldo, and it's completely of wood. It's using the sock cups, I guess they are called. Yeah, you apply it with that thing under the guitar. Here you get a photo of me sitting in this position. Here I have an ergo play, the Tröster model, which is thought to be for longer, higher guitarists. So if you're about 6 feet, something like this might be probably more indicated. For me, this is actually a bit too high, even if I'm able to play with that. Look at this photo. As you see, the guitar on the left leg is as high as it was on the other guitar rest. Meanwhile, the distance from the right leg is a bit larger due to this second thing of the guitar rest. Okay. Now, the footstool actually does the same thing. It raises the neck of the guitar in an angle. But we have to alter all our seating position. And this is for many players quite uncomfortable because we are getting in a less natural position while playing. And actually, I did not do that because my seating points on both sides of my were actually not with the same pressure on the chair. So I had more pain on one side than the other. So I changed. Well, I am a professional guitarist, so I played 6 to 8 hours a day once. So that did absolutely make sense. If you don't play that long, the footstool position anyway could be very recommended. That's okay playing in that way. Now, how can you fix this position? There are two possibilities, or better, there are two ways to do this. One is using weight, the other is using tension. Weight. The right arm can be laid on the side of the guitar, and the weight of it is pressing it down. The guitar is pressed down towards the right leg and towards the left as well. Now, the two legs, if they are not in tension and too relaxed, would open up and the guitar risks to shift down. So what we have to do is press a bit with both legs against the body of the guitar, respectively the guitar rest, in order to have the guitar really in a firm position. It must be possible that the guitar keeps in its place without the left hand. Just 4 points so are important. the forearm, the right leg, the left leg, and your breast. And we have to press a bit or imply strength. May it be by the weight of the arm, may it be by actually pressure and tension of the muscles. We have to hold the guitar. We cannot just put it there and it's everything relaxed and everything fine. Tension is necessary. It should not be too much tension, obviously, but without tension we would fall down, if not we, the guitar. This is the main position. And from that point we can start to apply the playing technique of the right hand in the most natural way, which will be described in another video.